Yo, what is up, guys? This is Mr. T coming at you live from NYC. Welcome back to Convos, our podcast over here at TimTalks. And hey, welcome back to another episode. So, hey, guys, again, I'm always going to keep repeating this, but I just want to give a big shout out to everyone who has been helping, sending over some comments, getting the support out there, getting the word out there for everyone that, there's a new podcaster in town. And he's wanting to tell the truth. So, again, thank you guys so much for your support. And the reason I know that is because I've been seeing comments everywhere online about what do you call that? You're sending DMs to me, commenting over on the channel, and that's something that always hits me in the feels. It comes really close to heart because, like I said, I do care about you guys and what's happening out there in the world. So again, I'm sorry if I'm rambling on for the first bit of this segment, but again, I just want to give a big thank you and much obliged and much appreciated to everyone out there who's been making this sort of a big thing, an up and coming channel, just like so many others out there, whoever wants a voice. So again, thank you so much for all of you guys' support, and I really do appreciate it. So hey, I got something new here today, and this is something a little bit lighthearted, but at the same time, like I said, if you guys don't know, I'm actually 22 going into 23 by the time you guys hear this, just because I wanted to get these out there for all of you. I'm actually going to be 23 pretty soon, if not now. So kudos to me. I'm still young, still hip, quote unquote, still fresh. But hey, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because this person, he's just talking about youth. He's just talking about wanting to be a kid and all that stuff, but he's been having some trouble. If you guys, anyone out there who's still young, again, keep that close to heart. Keep enjoying that because youth is just a gift, and it doesn't really matter, um, what particular time, elementary, middle, high school. You guys are still young. So yeah, take advantage of that. So let me just get down to this person. So he wrote this. So this is honestly what sucks about being in middle school. There be bullies, there be teachers who literally don't care. Then you got parents who don't support you. I just want to know what's the best advice you can give to students like us. Sorry for ranting. I just wanted to get this out there. Okay. So yeah, pretty understandable, coming from someone who still remembers how it was in middle school. Yeah, it sucks. Honestly, you got to deal with puberty. That's one thing. You also got to deal with now things get real, right? So everything that goes on in middle school, the bullying, the fact that you're with people who you don't really know. You're at a new school, that's one thing. And you also got teachers, who quote unquote expect more from you, and then parents who just want to try stay on top of things because they know they expect at this age that you're going to rebel and all those kind of things. Yeah, all that crap. But anyway, so that's just the gist of what I remember in middle school. Whoever wrote this, again, you are reaching out to also a lot of people, so again, thank you for that. But really, when it comes down to middle school, or when it comes down to being youthful in general, the one thing I can mention to you guys is this. Let me get straight down to the point. Number one, whenever you're approaching middle school, the best thing to do is remain calm. Right. The first thing you do is remain calm. I know it's a new environment. I know there are new people, new friends, new teachers to be had, and all those things. But honestly, it's just that fear, and I know it sounds very difficult, but coming from someone who was kind of antisocial at the time, and that someone was me. So at the time, I didn't really have that many friends, or I didn't really interact. So both went happened in both ways, and um, just because I was afraid of, like, for example, me, like, I'm a nerd. I was so focused on my academics, and reflecting on that, it sucked because I know that there was more opportunities out there, but I didn't step out of my shell because I was so conflicted, about what was happening within the school. And there were still people who still expected of me. And it was because of that I got stressed out at some point. And I was very susceptible to that. And you guys know what I mean, dealing with all those kind of things, especially transitioning and seeing different students. You meet first, you're accustomed to like 30, then you got like what 120, because you switch classes. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to keep track of, and all those stressful things. So again, my first bit of advice is, to remain calm, and calm, collected, and get control of yourself at that point, because it's gonna help you, not only in middle school but in the long run. Okay. And then this person also mentions here, there be bullies. Honestly, like I said, I also had that before. I had bullies. I don't know which podcast I mentioned that, but I did have those. But honestly, it doesn't do well to fight them. If you have bullies, don't be confrontational, and even if they do confront, don't be the person who stoops down and throws the first punch. Hey, take it like a man or a woman. If it happens, it happens. And hey, um it really stands the test of time, when they learn. Because I remember meeting my bullies over in college, and then they're grown up, and I realized you were so stupid to actually do those things in middle school, going on into high school at some points, but I didn't really see much of that. And then we're chill. We were cool. We went on to college. We went on to do better things. My bullies are doing awesome. I don't want to refer to them as that, but it's just so that who they were before and who they became now. And I didn't throw any punches. I wasn't the idiot who wanted to, for example, want to fight back. Sometimes it's better to be the victim than be one of the culprits. So again, if ever you confront bullies, right, or if they confront you, take the higher road. You know better than to want to fight, because honestly, it just escalates from there. Because no one wants to do that. It just gets out of hand. You got all those things going on, and it really does hurt. Hmm. So, and another thing that I also want to point out is over here, um, when you got parents who don't, or who are just like, they're either overprotective when you're in middle school, or they're underprotective. Sometimes you get those parents who just want to stay on top of things while you're in middle school, or throughout life in general. And then you got those parents who just really don't want to see you get out of my face, move on. They think that in middle school you're already an adult and all those things, be a man and all that crap. But the thing is with parents, like I said in another podcast, just maintain that respect, regardless of whatever happens, just because they didn't care for you at that moment, or they became too overprotective of you. Again, um, that little bit of respect for having, that you were brought into the world to do something that you can make of yourself. And people can say, oh, um, why do I have to not respect them? Oh, why do I have to respect them when they did this to me and all this shiz and all that, right? But the truth is, if we do that, we're stooping to their level, right? And especially since that was probably taught to them when they were young, to man up, to toughen up, and all those things. Again, that ain't us. That ain't the new gen. That's not the way it works, right? What works is, you know, being a person. You know, showing off emotion. Being social with other people if you want to, being who you want to be, those kind of things, right? um and that's really what it boils down to being a kid. It's not really just about being young, it's more about being yourself, right? And we don't want to stoop to the level that we have with our parents, wanting to follow in the bad things about them, the things that we should follow, the things out there in the world, that respect, that kindness. And again, it doesn't matter if it doesn't show up, if it doesn't get reciprocated, if it doesn't benefit you or whatever. You don't have to care about that crap. You literally just have to be the person that you want then and there, right? um with with your parents, or if your parents ain't there for you, it doesn't matter, right? You ain't gonna follow in their footsteps, right? You break the cycle, you break the chain. And then I know, just wanted to point out those three things. So again, when it comes down to being someone who's young and all those things, right? Again, number one, remain calm. Number two, again, don't confront anyone who's gonna hurt you, or anyone who looks like they can hurt you. Again, you know, play better to play the victim, better to be someone who didn't throw the punch. And again, with parents, just out there, whether they're with you or they weren't, you ain't gonna be them. You gotta be that person who you wanna be, right? And always just keep that in mind, but also don't give in to the hate, you know? Hating is what gets things started, right? The bad things, if you know what I mean, right? But also on top of all of that, let me just tell you guys something, when I was growing up, right? Just wanting to be a kid, that can go in many ways, but really, if you really think about it, right? Being a kid is just like, do we really want to, for example, be smaller? Do we really want to be like that kind of child? Or do we want to be that way in the heart, right? Do we want to be that person who can grow up, and regardless of whether we were 10 or whether we become 100, again, life has it in for all of us, right? But really, who do we want to be when we grow up, right? And I think this is what this person is trying to say over here. um because students feel like they're afraid to lose that, right? They're afraid to fall into that pattern. um and they don't want to fall into the pattern, like when you become this crusty, dusty, whatever adult, or that's what people say nowadays, right? They don't want to be that ASS. They don't want to be that a-hole who wants to, for example, be like a Karen or a quote unquote Kyle. Again, not dissing Karens or Kyles, anyone who's named that. It's just the category for, those people on Instagram and TikTok who just throw a tantrum. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? So, um, kids are afraid, am I gonna be that? You know, am I gonna fall for that trap? Am I gonna hit hard? Am I going to, be that selfish and cruel, just like I felt when I was with my teachers or parents, and that's what many students are afraid of. And what I like about the new gen is, that people are starting to stand up for what they believe in, right? Starting to stand up for what they love, and they want to follow in someone else's footsteps. They want to be who they are, pursue their passion, pursue what they love. And that's the thing about being a kid, is that you got all these dreams, these talents, right? You got that energy. And that's what I'm getting the vibe from. This person is probably afraid that, so like so many people he's seeing, they got to grow up. And honestly, I'm 23 by this point, and cut that shit, right? Because that really is a mindset that is always not going to find something that they want in life. That's always going to be the mindset where, that adult mindset where people don't empathize, don't care, don't love, right? Are self-centered at times, right? And that's the thing. Um, Even though you have those fits of emotion, as long as you know what's good, then I don't see a problem, honestly. Just having that youthful vigor, that youthful kindness, that audaciousness, that creativity, that knowledge, that intellect, all those things, right? And that's the thing, that many people want to retain, honestly, when it comes down to being young, right? So take a couple minutes to think about that, guys. When we want to say to ourselves, we want to be young, right? Think about that. What are the mistakes that people make, right? When they want to quote unquote be young, right? Let's talk about the physical side, right? So when people want to be mistakenly young, right, they think that they got to change their quote unquote appearance, right? They got to put on this makeup, this serum, or whatever, right? Guys, that's going to damage your face, honestly. Some is okay, but if you want to be young, it's got to be from the heart, the physical heart, right? It's got to be there and not on the face, right? You wash it off, right? Take a shower and all that, right? And then you got to reapply. That's not being youthful, right? That's being, what do you call that? That's being insecure, right, about things. And so, like I said, unless it's something like for medical reasons or for practical reasons, right? Again, being youthful doesn't mean on the having to be physically beautiful and all that stuff, right? And let's talk about the mistakes that people make mentally, right? They think that when, for example, um, having this strictness, right? Having this lack of empathy and all those things, right? Not understanding other people, right? And many people fall for that when trying to be young. Sometimes they fall for that trap of doing something that actually makes them more of a quote unquote adult, right? Acting foolish or arguing, yelling, and all those things, right? Again, do you see a child do that? Right? Doesn't happen. Doesn't really happen as much, just for some things, but not a whole lot, right? And that's another mistake I've seen adults make when they try to be young, right? Um, on the one hand, for example, like they become mentally insecure in the process, right? That's not being young, right? And then if you think about it, like, socially and emotionally and all those things, right? And when people say that they want to be young but they don't understand other people's emotions, right? They don't get that there's not only happiness but there's also sadness and all those things, right? Being young means understanding all of that, right? To know that it's okay to be happy, it's okay to be scared, it's okay to be um afraid, it's okay to be sad and all those things, right? Because literally everyone goes through those challenges, right? um Being youthful means opening your mind to all of that, right? That it happens in the world and that people really may encounter it at some point, right? And then for example, when it comes down to finances, that one is a little bit tricky, right? Because um when we're quote unquote being youthful with finances, it's more about being creative in the way you go about things, right? Many adults think, for example, they want to be young but then they don't adapt, right? There are many ways to do to find work. There are many ways to acquire money, right? And all those things. Like take for example me, where not only do I work, but I also do things on the side. Like I said, I'm a teacher, so not only do I teach other students, but I also teach on the side. I also do these market research surveys, which actually is pretty dang good, honestly. I should probably put that in a link down below. There's also that, and then there's always opportunities, with acquiring money, and the best way to start is having that youthful mindset, being creative about what it is that you want to achieve in life, right? And not focus one-sidedly on one thing like many adults. They work and that's it, right? But many adults now are getting that youthful vibe of trying out other things. They go on YouTube, they podcast, um they what do you call it? They go on Etsy, they go on eBay, Amazon, just putting all their ideas out there, and then you can see they're having happier lives. Not because that they earn money, that's one thing, but the fact that they get to do something youthful, they get to do something that they love, right? And they make a difference, right? So that's the whole deal. Even me, for example, when I'm podcasting, I have no regrets. I have the time, right? Sure, editing can sometimes be BS, but that's what it is, right? Because I do it because I love it. Um, and then just there's so many other things that many adults fall for the trap that they think leads them to being youthful, being young, but really it just makes them older, right? So again, if you want to be youthful, again, appreciate who you are physically, and also appreciate the fact that your emotions are there, right? You're a person, right? You're not a machine that other people make of you, right? You're that person who's gonna be who they want, where they want to be, right? And that passion is only gonna come from you in general, right? And no one else. And then you think about it, emotions, right? They're real, right? People who are young know that, right? Socializing, right? People who are young can decide to be open-minded to other people, right? We didn't judge other people for how they looked or how they feel or whatever, right? When we were young. Only when we got older and we start to say that person sucks or whatever, right? We don't know, right? We honestly don't know what they're feeling financially, right? Also, you gotta really be creative with how you go about things when it comes down to your personal life, right? There are many ways to earn. There are many ways to learn, right? So, having that openness is what sets you apart from other people. So, if I were to summarize everything that I mentioned right now as to how it is that you want to be a kid, how it is that you want to be young, how it is that you want to be the best, right? Oh, first off, don't say best, right? Does it make you insecure? That's an adult thing, right? You hear your parents say, "Oh, you want to be the best." That sucks. I honestly tell them to shut up, because that's not the best way you want to put it, right? Otherwise, when you say best, you think you're above other people. I don't want to encourage that. But back to what I was saying, the best way to be youthful is to be open-minded to respect, open-minded to love, open-minded to opportunities, open-minded to creativity, open-minded to knowledge and facts and all those things, right? Because really think about that, right? The adult mindset can be very closed, can be um very close, because of the fact that they think that the experience justifies the means. That what they feel is going to lead them down this certain way, and that's the right way, right? But look at people who think like that. People who yell because it gets the job done, or people who do these kind of actions because it makes them feel good, or people who do drugs. And again, I'm not going to criticize, but then they fall into that pattern of addiction because of that problem, right? Because they're older and they get to try it out, right? Or people who just want to stick to one job just because that this is what's going to secure them, right? But then you get tired, right? All the mistakes of adulthood, right? That comes about, and I understand why people are afraid, right? That happens, and I feel for those who feel like they're stuck. Because honestly, if you're not happy during adulthood, it's not because that you want to also be young, but it's also the fact that you got stuck in the pattern and you don't know how to get out, right? Why do you think adults tend to envy children? If your parents ever argue with you, if your teachers try to criticize you, guess what? Because they're insecure about what it is that they don't have. I will guarantee you that right now. If an adult argues, it's because they don't got it anymore, right? And they fell for the trap. They think that as you get older, right? Why would you think that if you really went about things in a way that's good, right? So they take it out on children. And honestly, I feel bad just because so many kids, so many students, fell into that pattern. And I don't know if my voice really shows it, because I heard my voice in the podcast, and sometimes I'm really thinking, is that my voice? But really, it sucks when children be the victims and parents and adults think that's gonna make them stronger. No, honestly, it's what makes the problems happen in the first place, right? But there's have you noticed, like I said, open-mindedness? What does it do to people? I've seen people who are open-minded, not only children, but people my age in their 30s and in their 40s, and then look at how they are, right? They're not um playing around, so to speak. Yeah, they're still adults, but then they do the things that they love, right? They appreciate what they have, and then they became successful. They became who they are because they're kind, right? And I know what you're thinking, Mr. T. What about those people who are corrupt or whatever, right? Well, joke's on them, because that can also happen the other way. When you're bad, you can manipulate, and when you manipulate, you also get those things. But are we gonna follow in that path? Are we gonna follow that adult mindset and be the bitch like other people are, right? When it comes down to um working our way up while also being young, right? If you really think about that, right? We don't want to fall in that pattern. We want to be able to be young. And what does it mean to be young? Loving, caring, open-mindedness. Sorry for the dog, honestly. Even when we tried to put Bears in the studio, he is still loud. So hopefully, if you catch that, just know that it's real, right? Being loving, being caring, being kind, being sweet. Not necessarily sweet, but at least being empathetic, right? Um, and being selfless, and just having hope. Have hope out there that um no one can hurt you, no one can take things away from you, and all those kind of things, right? And just wanting to be young doesn't mean changing who you are. It's being who you are, right? I know, for example, adulthood comes our way, right? But here's the thing. What kind of adult do we want to be? The one that goes for it or the one that cares, right? The ones that go for it without a care in the world, or the ones who care and then go for it, right? So, keep that in mind as you go about growing up. Because honestly, you don't even have to try to be a kid. Just keep it, right? Keep what you feel is right. And again, when we become adults, yeah, we're gonna change in the way we look, right? But the way we feel, the way we act, the way we put things to heart, the way we put things in mind, that's gonna come from us, honestly. And I really feel that all of you, young or old, can feel that way. You want to feel young? You don't have to be young. Be who you are, right? You don't have to try. Just be open-minded, care, love other people, those kind of things. And that's really the best advice I can give you, because there's no way to be young. Don't put things on your face just because you want to. Just because you want to be young. Do it because you love it. Don't fall into the trap of adulthood just because it's the way things are meant to be. No. This is the new gen. Change it, right? Because we gotta feel something different, right? And only you guys out there can make a difference, right? Only you guys out there have the chance and the capability to be who you want to be. I have my faith, I have my hope, and I love all of you out there. And I honestly hope that you in life will find out who you are. You know, that's how it is. That's how you live on. That's how you live forever, because of that vigor, right? And let's hope that this soundtrack, gives you some inspiration, gives you hope, and just to let you know that this is how I'm feeling right now about you guys and your chances. All right, and that wraps it up for this episode of Convos. Again, this became a little bit more real, but then again, this is what makes it fun. Just the truth is, starting to be heard, and the fact that I'm gonna keep going until I run out of ideas, which in this case it ain't gonna happen, because we got a lot of content and we got a lot of things to talk about, right? Just because. So, anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you all. And for anyone out there who wants to leave something else for me to talk about, please go ahead, comment down below. Please PM me, DM me privately. I will respect your anonymity and I will care for your safety and security as you send over that comment. Oh, and shout out to Gongsha. If you guys don't know what Gongsha is, it is this wonderful tea shop, and actually not just a tea shop, it's a beverage shop, and they have a lot of drinks over there. And it's something that I was drinking over the course of this podcast. So shout out to them. I'm not advertising or anything, but they're really awesome. You should check them out. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like, share, sub, much love. I will see y'all at the next episode. This is Mr. T signing off. Thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you at the next episode. Right? Peace.